Good morning, everybody. It's Peter here from AJS, and it's my delight to once again bring you into a jeweller's workshop somewhere in Australia. And this week we're coming to you from sunny Adelaide, and I have the pleasure of introducing once again Katherine Grocott. Welcome back, Katherine.
Hi, everybody. Great to have you come and play with me this time in my house.
Excellent. Good to be there. Thanks for the invite, Katherine. And this morning we're etching aluminium. So
that's correct.
What are we going to be doing in general then, Katherine?
Yep. Well, first I want to acknowledge that I am living, working and teaching today on Ghana land, and I'd like to pay respects to the elders, both past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the importance that their spirituality with the land is a very important part of their lives. So we are etching aluminium today. I've got a couple of samples here for you so that you can see what we're going to be playing with. So this here is a little piece. Now, if I move it like this, hopefully, yeah.
Yep, we
you
got
can
it.
see that there's high shine bits and low, like matte, sandy bits. And that's what we're going to be doing. Basically, we're using a chemical solution to eat away a top layer of aluminium. So the bits that are high shine, they've had a resist or something that's going to stop the chemical from eating in. And the bits that are kind of rough, they've had the chemical touching them and therefore eating away the aluminium. So this particular one, it had like a sticker that was in like a lace pattern. So you can kind of get the effect of that lace there. I've got one here that where I just used, this is nail polish. So where the white bits are, that's the resist. That is the nail polish sitting on the top. And then the silver parts are the where the chemical has eaten away, it's etched. Then I've got one here.
Is the nail polish still there? Or?
Yes, yep, on that particular one it is. Yeah. This one, we've got, this piece has actually been dipped into the solution. So it's got on this side, you can see it's got a quite dramatic colour change from the high shine. You can see, yeah, high shine up here, and then this darker, much rougher area at the bottom. And then on this side, what I've done is I've coloured it with Prismacolor pencils. So we're going to have a little play with that as well later on in the session. And if you want to see the kinds of details that you can get with etching, here are two pieces that, oh, now can you see them through the plastic?
We can just, if you can take them out, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's pull them out. Now, I have to confess, these are not aluminium. These are silver, but it's the same process, using a chemical to eat away at the material. Now, silver needs different chemicals, and sometimes, depending on which technique you're using, you might need to use like electricity, you know, to pass through it to make it work. But there you can see the incredible detail that you can get. So
what is it we're looking at?
Yep, Yoda.
Oh, Yoda.
Yoda from Star Wars.
Okay.
And this one's even more detailed. Now these two have been made with a product called P&P paper, so press and peel paper, and you can get unbelievable detail. Yeah, I hope that's coming through.
Yeah, we've certainly got the idea. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, the high shine bits are where the resist is, and the kind of duller matte bits is where the chemicals etched away the aluminium, or in this case, silver. But yes, we're focusing on aluminium today because you only need one chemical and you can get it at Bunnings. Whereas many of the other types of etching solutions are a little bit more difficult to obtain, and you may actually need much more complex setups. But aluminium, the product that you're using is copper sulphate. And if I bring this in, oh, maybe it's easier to suit this. This is copper sulphate. It's a wonderful blue powder.
What size container is that?
Oh, I'm
20 kilograms.
At least 10 kilo.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. But yeah, if you go to Bunnings, you're looking for bluestone copper sulphate. It's a fertilizer that is meant to help with like copper deficiencies in plants. So one of the good things about this is that once you're finished with the solution, you can dilute it and you can give it to your plants that are deficient in copper. So it's a bit more of a vaguely environmentally friendly chemical to work with. However, it does smell and it is in a very fine powder. So if you're going to work with it, still would suggest, don't let your hands touch it. If you actually want to put your hands in it, wear gloves, and do it in a well-ventilated area. The smell is not great. So often when I'm doing this, I will actually either write it at open window. If I'm at Jam Factory, I'll do it in the chemical room in the fume cabinet. Or I can do it just outside and leave it outside. If you didn't have those, it would be try and get it near an open window so that that smell can go. But be wary of it touching your hands. If you've got glasses or safety goggles, wear those while you're handling the powder. And if you want to go extra cautious, just a mask so that you're not breathing in the particles. So for today, what I'll do is I'll just wear that just while I'm transporting it, but as soon as it's diluted, I'll take this off so that you guys can actually still hear me.
Katherine, I'll just take the opportunity to welcome our audience this morning, and if you'd like to introduce yourself, ladies and gentlemen, and let us know where you're watching from throughout Australia or anywhere around the world, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
That would be wonderful. Welcome, everybody. So I've got some of the other equipment you need is you do need some salt, just normal everyday table salt. You can usually buy this in 1 or 2 kilo bags. So if you're going to do this a lot, a nice big bag of table salt. You need some aluminium. So I've just got a number of, little squares, little rectangles cut up to try different techniques today. There are different types of aluminium alloys. And so far, all the aluminium that I have ever tested, this method has worked, but it will have a different, what's left behind can be different. So on this aluminium, it went quite dark grey, whereas this one, it was the same colour, just rougher. So totally depends on the aluminium alloy. You need something that's going to act as a resist. So we've got a number of things today to play with. We've got Posca pens, we've got oil-based pens, we've got some nail polish here, we've got stickers, we've got some contact, plastic contact for covering books and stuff like that. And you can use that P&P or press and peel paper. That's a whole nother video in itself, so I won't be using that today, but just kind of the simple things that you would have in your own home. And then you also need some containers. So one that you're going to use as your etching container, you need a container that you're going to mix into with a spoon to, just give it a mix. and then a few other bits and bobs that I'll introduce to you as we go. All right, everybody ready to get started?
Let's do it there, Katherine.
All right, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write out a recipe for you all, so that you can, write it down for yourselves and have a memory. Now, of course, I'm writing upside down, so I'll write it, read it out to you. You can write and read, so if you need to go grab a pen and paper, then I'll turn it up the right way so that you can actually read it. So you need 1/4 cup of salt, 1/4 cup of the copper sulphate, you need 250 mils of hot water and 500 mils of cold water. Okay, and I might, and for those of you who want to go looking for this, okay, let's turn that upside down. Now, can everybody read that?
We can.
Excellent. Everybody can read my writing.
It's pretty neat.
When you have two parents who are both teachers, you get good handwriting. So hopefully you've all had a bit of time to write that down. And we'll start getting our mixing stuff ready. Okay, let's move that.
So Katherine, just while you're just organising that, I'd just like to welcome Ange from Perth, Trevor from South Australia, Joe from Sydney, Carol from Queensland, Penny from Geraldton, and Gail from Launceston, amongst others. So
oh,
thank you
hello,
very much.
everybody. Oh, my goodness, that's like all over Australia.
Yeah.
We're interstate. Okay, I've got an old wooden spoon here that I use for, mixing dyes, chemicals, So something old that is never, ever going to touch food. Again, if you are going to store this, and you can actually store this for a while, be very, very aware of what you put it in. Now, I live with a flatmate who is an adult who will never be coming into my studio. If you have children, or you're in a common, a joint studio or something like that, probably not a great idea to put it in a food container. So something that can be exceptionally well labelled. So like I keep this at home when I do store it, but if I actually take it to work, I will have it, clearly labelled, so that, everybody knows what it is. It's not food, it's not spent pickle or anything like that. Everybody knows. So just for today, mixing into, a container with a lid. So I will pop my mask on just till the water goes in. Oops. So 1/4 cup of salt. Now I keep a 1/2 cup measuring spoon in with my copper sulphate. I've got 1/2 cup of salt. No, quarter cup of salt. And now I'm just going to lift the lid off the copper sulphate and put it in as quickly as possible and pop it down so we don't have particles or smell for as short a time as possible. So 1/4 cup, that lid is sealed back down again. And then you start with your hot water. So I've put the kettle on before we started, and we've got 250 mils. So that's one cup. of hot water. Now the hot water helps to dissolve the crystals. All right. Now that water's on, hopefully you could all hear me speaking through that.
No problem.
Yeah. If you didn't have a good filtration system or anything like that, then I would have a full proper breathing mask, with proper filtration on it. But here where I've got a nice big open window just behind me, that is now sealed. This has now got the water in. I think we're okay. Okay, I now want to stir this, mix this, so that all those crystals dilute. And certainly once it's got the water on it, the smell is nowhere near as bad as just the crystals. Now you can probably see it's kind of like a funny green colour. Even in a clear container, it will look that kind of weird green. Now, once you kind of run your spoon around and you can't feel any of the grit at the bottom, you should be okay then to add your cold water because all those crystals have dissolved. So we now want 500 mils, so 2 cups of cold water. Oh, that's hot. That will. Let me just pour that back in. We don't want to have it too hot. Let's get the cold water.
Good idea.
Yes.
Good pick up there,
Okay,
Katherine.
let's try that again. So 2 cups.
So when you say cold, it is actually cold out of the fridge, is it?
No, this
Just room temperature.
Room temperature, yeah.
Yeah.
This was in the fridge last night, but it's been sitting here ready to go all night, so it's back down to room temperature. Okay, now hopefully that's picking up on the camera that it actually begins to change colour. Okay.
Is it looking bluer?
Yes, it should go this beautiful azure blue. And because it's in a blue container, it's a little bit harder to see. But yeah, stir that up so that it's kind of well mixed.
Katherine, got a question from Penny, and she's asked, can this solution be used to etch copper?
Oh, no, I don't believe so.
Different courses.
Yes, I don't think it would have the same reaction. Because I actually think it's the copper reacting with the aluminium that is the reaction. Don't quote me on that. I've never actually etched copper before. Okay, I'm going to put just in case there's spills, I'm going to pour this into my etching container. And there you go, that lovely azure blue colour. Now you want it deep enough so that it will cover the piece that you're doing, but not so deep that it's going to get in the way of you being able to do things. So I'm going to put a lid on this one here. Get that out of the road. Okay, and we have an aluminium etching solution. So once you've prepared that, you can then get your pieces of aluminium ready. The other thing is you could also prepare your aluminium first and then get this ready. That's not a problem. But getting your pieces ready, let's put it that way so you can read it. We're just going to move that over and then we'll get some of our pieces ready. Okay, so we've got some aluminium here. I think I've got, yeah, 2 pieces from one, like some aluminium that you can pick up in hobby shops. And these 3 pieces have been cut off a sheet that I purchased in a big sheet from a metal suppliers. So they could potentially be a different alloy. Yeah, if you can find out what the alloys are when you purchase it, great, but often you can't, certainly not from hobby shops. But yeah, usually the metal supply places, they'll be able to tell you. So just recently I got some aluminium laser cut and it was 5005 was the aluminium alloy. So if you can know that and keep it in your records, if you want to repeat processes, a good idea. Okay, so we're going to start with different things to test. So I'll do one, put that in the solution, get that activated, and then we'll start working on different resists so that you can see the different things that you can use. So one of the first things, and possibly one of the easiest things, is kind of oil or paint-based pens. So this one here, the Sharpie oil-based paint pen, that one's quite a handy pen to have, and it comes in different sizes. So yeah, that one's, yeah, nice big thick kind of textury size. You've got like a fine point, and then like a little bullet point. Now with these, usually there'll be that like the shaker in the pen so that the oil and the paint and everything gets, mixed. So you do need to give them a bit of a shake. Sometimes it's actually a good idea to hold them like vertically and then you like press down on them just to get that tip started. So always shake with the lid on. Inevitably, paint will go everywhere if you don't. And then just give them a little bit of a depress to get the paint, the paint moving. So we might move those pieces out. We might give a little drawing of a blob and fill that in.
So these pens are available from like art shops or something, are they, Penny?
Yeah.
Katherine, sorry.
Yeah. I found like Posca pens are probably a little bit easier to find than these Sharpie oil pens. I think I actually picked these up from a jewellery supply place a long time ago. But your Posca pens, these, most art supply places will have these available. I'm going to give that a little bit of a press. Well, that needs a bit more shaking. And they do need to be, the ink does need to flow well with these kinds of pens. If they are, if you can see there how this one is looking a little bit like empty, that won't work as well, because anywhere where there's that white line, the the etching solution will eat through it. So if it can see the metal, it'll eat it. Let's see. That's looking a little bit better. This is hilarious. I tested this one yesterday and it was the best one. Now it's, oh well. Maybe I used up all the ink yesterday.
You must have.
Yeah. No, that one is just not. Yes, you can see from yesterday where I did not have the, didn't have the lid on, ink went everywhere.
Oh, that's the most beautiful solid red dot I've ever seen.
Oh, that's right. Okay, one more go. If it doesn't, oh, there we go. Now we're flowing. So yeah, it can take a little while to get these moving. All right, we'll give it a bit of a. Actually, this might be a good thing to show you whether or not, because that's just not flowing as much as I'd like, whether that'll eat through. Okay. So
what have you done there? Have you given your blob a foot or something? What
yes, a little bit of a weird clover-shaped leafy thing. You can tell I'm not a brilliant illustrator by any stretch of the imagination. For those of you who can really actually draw, this has got amazing possibilities. I'm not that great of an illustrator. So the other thing is that if I popped this straight into the resist as it is, then of course it would eat the back as well. So I want to protect the back so that then I've got something to work with. Like if I wanted to turn this into, yeah, a pendant, a brooch, you know, cold connected to a ring. Yeah, I don't want the whole of the piece to disappear. So some simple packing tape. This stuff will protect the back. So you want a long enough strip so that you can place your piece on and you can give yourself some handles. So you do want to burnish this very well on the back. So if you happen to be a paper artist and you have a bone folder right next to you, that's brilliant. Or if you're a metal worker and a jeweler, your burnisher will do the same thing. So just get that really stuck down. And then you can also do the edges. So you can fold up like two opposite sides. And give that a burnish. Oh, sorry, I've taken that out of shot. Give it a burnish on both sides. And then kind of pinch in and make like little corners on the side. So you can see I've got like little triangles now in the corner. And then this little bit becomes my handle. I'm just going to fold over a little bit. And then I do the same on the other side. So kind of just pinch it in, make those little triangles and burnish the edges. So it's almost like making almost like a little bed for my piece. You can see there, fold over the tape on the end, and then you've got something non-sticky to hold on to as you dip it in. So I think this actually worked there.
So the adhesive on the tape doesn't react in a negative way with the solution at all?
Yeah, that's right. It acts as a resist. So we'll pop that in. Now, of course, if you've made a lip like this, you've got to make sure that the solution gets in. Pop it in with your illustration face up. And, oh, I don't know whether you can see this.
Can you see activity?
Already tiny, tiny little bubbles forming. So we will let that, it's great to actually watch this because it's so instantaneous and you see what happens so quickly. It's like you actually see the reaction. So we'll let that continue to, cook away. And we'll.
How long do you think that'll need?
Usually it's about 10 to 20 minutes, but it totally and utterly depends on what effect you're looking for. Yeah. If you just want the kind of gentlest, like roughing up of the surface, you might only need 5. If you want a really, really sharp, clear delineation, give it 20. But it also depends on the thickness of your material. So all of these pieces of aluminium are between 1.5 and 1.6 mil thick. Much more than 20, and you could be losing a good, quarter, third of the thickness. So last night, this little piece that I did, this was only in for about maybe 8 minutes. It was both sides, but I don't know whether you can tell that on screen, but it is actually like you can visually see that it is thinner on the end than it is where it hasn't been etched. So
we're getting that impression.
Yeah. One of the
Katherine, I'd just like to take this opportunity just to thank Trevor for his response to Penny's question about etching copper. And from his experience, you need to use nitric acid mordant or ferric chloride. So thank you very much for that response there, Trevor.
Yeah, I'd have it, but I'd suspect other chemicals. And certainly those, they sound a little bit more potent than a
You said the nitric acid was dangerous, yeah. So
yes. And again, getting a good setup for that kind of stuff that, if it's toxic, dangerous, be wise in your use of chemicals. Okay, next one, we'll use some good old nail polish. So this one, actually, another good idea you can do is just to record like when you put it in, because again, if you want to repeat a process, knowing how long it took you, what material you had. So we might give this a bit of a test. So according to my watch, we put it in at 10:45. Is it really that late? Good grief. Sorry, people. You think something's going to take 5 minutes? No. Okay, so 10:45 is our leaf blob. So some nail polish. Might just do some nice stripes. And again, make sure that it's on fairly. So if you see if I've got that, oh dear.
Bit of a smear.
Yeah, that will not that'll just get eaten away. So you do have to be a bit generous with your nail polish. Now all those professional craft YouTubers with the immaculate nails, yeah, coat it on like that. Pop that down. That's a bit better, nice and thick. And I'll do one where it's kind of blobby and not quite as, and then you can see the difference of what might happen if you don't fill it in. Okay. Now, that does need to dry, so we'll let that nail polish dry and we'll do something else. Okay, you can use good old stickers. In my experience, the ones that have like a foil or a vinyl type finish seem to work better. So, you know, if you can tell, this one's got like a silver finish, whereas this is a paper one, and this has got a foil, yeah, a foil finish. But yeah, we'll do both so that you can see the difference.
So, Katherine, Trevor's just got a quick question. Do you not need to feather to remove bubble rings whilst etching? Do you know what he means? Is he talking about your current etching that's going on? Do you need to?
Oh, if I'm understanding right, I've never heard that terminology before, but actually we'll have a little break. You might be able to see it's gone quite dark.
Mm-hmm.
Inside that, let's lift it up. Where's my spoon? Yep. If I lift that up out of the solution, you can see that there's this kind of, it's like the reaction. It's like all this kind of chemical-y, yeah, stuff that's on top. You do want to like shake that out and get rid of it so that the etching solution can still eat away at the surface of the aluminium. So yeah, I kind of give it a little agitation, and then I can, oops, I've dropped my little, there we go. Pull that up. So you can use a spoon or a, if you've got a brass brush or something like that, that will get it off. But yeah, every now and again, just come back to it, give it a little shake, little clean up, get rid of the residue. There we go. And then let it continue to eat away. Oh. Okay. All right. Put that there. So we've got a silver dot down. We'll get a paper dot down, and that means you can see some comparison between the two. Oh, now, yeah, another thing to be aware of with aluminium, and sometimes like big sheets of metal from metal suppliers, sometimes they will come with, I don't know if you can see that, like a plastic backing. So of course, if it's nice and secure and is completely perfect, there's your resist all ready for you. But this one has got bubbles on it, so I'm just gonna see if those come out. If I can't get those out, I'll take it off and no. Yeah, that's, yeah, you probably, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see some bubbles there.
Yeah. So I'll remove that and then just use the tape. Burnish down. And then we'll do the same thing and tape it up. And yes, meanwhile, our bubbling away. Oh, fun thing with working with tape, it always sticks to you. Okay. So get it nice and flat. Now, one thing to consider when you're doing this is whether you just work with, you know, a piece of aluminium that is much bigger than your final design, and then just do all your cutting and finishing later, because it is a lot easier to make your little kind of handles on something that's got straight sides. However, your design might need, it may need to be like cut out and finished before you start etching. So just think through how the design is going to work best, at which stage you should do the etching. So that's part of, you know, figuring out designs and doing your problem solving. Unfortunately, one of the benefits of aluminium, it's a lot cheaper than silver or gold. It's also incredibly lightweight. So, you know, if you've got like, earrings, you can have quite large size earrings, but with a lot less weight to them. So that can be beneficial for some customers. So there's pros and cons with aluminium. It's also a very, like, it doesn't tarnish. It will oxidize, but you can't see it, not like silver or gold. It can also be anodized into amazingly stunning colors. But there are two, for the etching that we're doing today, you have to have untreated aluminium. If you use the anodized aluminium, which is often used for like home coloring, it won't work. Coming off my fingers. So yes, for this, you do need to, let's give that a shake. For this process, you do need to, do not use your bone folder. You do need to use untreated aluminium, but the untreated aluminium can then be commercially anodized later. Okay, we're beginning to see, I don't know if you can see that, so you can just, oh, is it hard to see in the...
Looks like a big blob to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can see the picture, underneath that, but yeah, it's not coming up on screen very well. There, give it a little bit more shake, a bit more of a scratch off.
So how far away from pulling that one out are we?
Oh, not far actually. Yeah, I think we might take that one out and then you can see that process. Okay, so the next, actually we might just pop that back in and then I'll bring over a rinsing bowl. Now you could do this right near a sink so that you can go straight from, yeah, if you've got a nicely aired laundry, yeah, have this sitting next to your sink so that you can go straight into a into the sink to rinse off. But for the purposes of a demonstration like this, we'll use a bowl. So straight in, nice and neutralized. And then you can remove the tape. And then clean up. So you can probably see that back, no effect there at all, which is great. Get rid of your tape. And then like a scourer or a brass brush. Just to clean off that. Like almost like it's like scum from the reaction. Okay. So with this one, yeah, that Posca pen did not work at all. It's probably, yeah, not working. Because it's so old and wasn't quite thick enough, that may have contributed to that. But that oil-based pen is looking amazing. So then you do have to get rid of whatever the resist was. So whether that comes off with some terps or oomph, yeah, whatever is going to come off. Like with the nail polish, you'll need some acetone to get it off. But things like stickers, you'll just peel them off. All right, so we'll let that one dry. And so that one came out at just before 11. So that was about 13. Yeah, about 13 minutes. And that's quite a nice deep etch with a significant raise on that resisted part. All right, let's, where's this one going? And we'll give this one a little bit of a shake. Get some of that gumph off. Oh, actually that one you can see much more clearly how the stickers kind of keep it.
Yep, protected.
Yeah. Mm. Yep. So we'll get our spoon, scrape off some of that, give it a shake. And you can also begin to see how the water changes colour. Alrighty, let's get the get some tape on this one. Oh, I might just don't. Ooh!
Whoops.
Yes, this is my bookbinding setup here. It can move. I hope nobody got seasick from that. All right, we'll do this one, and then we'll do one last demonstration with the contact.
So I hope this is giving some of our viewers some ideas and inspiration. If you've got some ideas for a piece of work that you might like to do, just share them in the comments. Or if you've got any questions you'd like to ask Katherine,
absolutely.
Please ask away.
Okay, this one. Oh, what I might do with this one, I'll leave this one without the edges kind of done, and then you can see how the edges change if you don't seal those up. And that might be something that might be part of a design, to have the edges kind of eaten away and be roughed on the edge. And sometimes this is one thing you do need to be aware of, is when you're handling packing tape, that it can get twisted on itself.
We've all had that experience, Katherine.
Oh, yes. Okay, pop you in. Here. There we go, over here. Keep you agitated, keep you moving. Give you a bit of a scrape. If this is this feathering idea, it's great to know that it has a term. Feathering. Was that
Trevor put it in inverted commas, so it was his sort of term for it, I assume.
Yes.
So, but it's a good term.
Trevor, confirm if this is what you were meaning of, giving it a little agitation and getting rid of the kind of chemical buildup. If it was something else that,
I'm sure that's what he meant. Yeah.
Let us know. All right, and one last. So I'm removing this sticky on the back. That one's really bubbly. Contact. This stuff is quite, quite effective. Now, again, depending on the type of contact you have, this one is quite like a thin, flexible contact, but you can also get things like much more thicker vinyl type ones, and they work particularly well. The other thing is, those ones you can use craft punches like this, quite effectively. But on this kind of flexible contact, it's actually incredibly difficult for it to cut out because the plastic just bends over the cutting surface. So if you do want to use punches on this, you need a scrap piece of paper, and you can see where I've cut this one out. You actually put the contact. I'll chop this little end bit off. Just pop the contact inside 2 sheets of paper or a bit of folded paper, secure, and then do a little heart this time. Nice firm movement, and you'll end up with a covered piece of paper and your piece of contact.
Good little trick.
Yep. And the other thing with contact is you can design your own and then use like a scalpel or a, oh, let me get mine out. Like a scalpel or a paper cutting knife. And you can do quite intricate designs. So Yeah, let's see if my fingernails are going to be good enough to get this contact off. There's no like corner to start.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Alrighty. We've got. Oh, I don't know whether you guys can see.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
So again, burnish really well so that the water, the etching solution can't get underneath. We'll stick our heart on. Oh, that's just a piece of paper on the background. Oh, actually, ooh. Okay, what we might do is actually use what was left behind. Let's see if I can do that. So instead of just being, yeah, kind of having to use what's, let's see if this works. So I'm cutting out the heart, but then, oh, that's a little bit big. And then I'm cutting another one around it. Oh, that may not have worked so well. I don't think I did that quite as firmly as it needed to be. No, that one did not work. You might be able to see how kind of like it just hasn't cut because this particular kind of contact is just too flexible. But on better like vinyl, that would be much more successful. So yeah, let's put our heart down. So again, experiment, play. One of the benefits of aluminium, it's cheaper. All right, let's get this one in. And where's our tape? Well, I hope you guys aren't too bored now seeing so many different variations, but hopefully this gives you a number of options of what you can do with just things that, yeah, many of you would have in your house already, or that are fairly cheap to get a hold of. There you go, burnish down. Get rid of any bubbles. There, those sides. So I keep taking out a frame, so sorry.
You're okay. We're watching the bubbles.
They're a bit mesmerising, aren't they?
Yeah, Catherine, Ange has asked that will the etching solution continue to work when it gets muddy like that, or will it need refreshing after a few pieces?
Yeah. Personally, I would, yeah, I think we could probably do these 4 pieces and we'll have a compare and see how they, yeah, how they turn out. But yeah, renewing the solution, it will still work, but it's likely to be much slower. And certainly if I'm near a sink or some kind of way of disposing of the scum, I'll actually put it somewhere else. So rather than leaving it in the solution, I would actually get rid of it and then return the piece to the water. But here in this setup, yeah, I'm not able to do that. But yeah, at Jam Factory in the chemical room, or if I had this set up in my laundry, yeah, that's what I'd be doing. But you guys will not fit in my laundry. So yes. All right, let's get those handles made. I'll sink you in and we'll get one of these others out. All right, let's bring in our rinsing bowl. Take that one out. Okay, so this is our stickers. Put that in. Completely submerge. All right, let's get that tape off. So again, nice clean back on it. There we go. And now this one will be a little bit easier to get that sticker off. I peel that off, and then you've got a very nice clean circle there. I mean, that's lovely, and yeah, lovely and clean. As you can see, the paper kind of begins to disintegrate, but it's still given a good result. There, enough any kind of sticky residue. All right, so yeah, you can see that the difference in that is really nice and obvious, very clean. All right, that'll dry.
So if you wanted to, on top of one of those circles, you could use your marker to sort of do a little pattern and then pop it back in.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So yeah, you could do this in multiple different stages and then kind of protect the other bits so that they don't etch any further. Yeah, completely able to, yeah, rework this. You've just got to figure out which bits to protect. Yeah. So that was probably in for about, yeah, 10 or 15 minutes. Let's see how this one's going. Move you up.
They become attached to each other.
Yes, they have. Good old tape. Yeah, you can see with that one that didn't have the sides on it, it was much easier to get rid of the scum because it's not kind of trapped in there, but the edges will be eaten. There we go. All right, let's get that one in. Alrighty, give this one a clean. So this has been in for much less time. And it's got a shallower finish to it. So it's not as nice and even as the dots or the blob. You can still see just the kind of the final remnants of the top layer. Okay, let's give that a dry and show you. Okay, so you can probably see, oh, it's so hard to see on camera. Just over here, there's just some kind of, still just the tiniest little bit of the top part, but not much. Yeah, so this has been in less time, but it's got a rougher, less even kind of roughness to it, whereas this is really nice, even, even texture. Okay, we might leave that last one for a little bit longer. And then, how are people going? We've been going for almost an hour now, just over an hour.
Probably getting to the end, Katherine.
Do people want to see the using the Prismacolor pencils?
Let's throw it in. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So Prismacolor pencils. Yeah, you can get them in like large kind of tins. So I've got a 132 set. But these are the only pencils that I've found that really they work the best. They've got a much higher like oil content to them, so they don't kind of fade away or flake off or things like that. So yeah, we might do something quite simple. But basically, for pencils to work on metal, it needs to have something for it to grip onto. So some of you may have done like Prismacolor on copper, where you use gesso to create a roughened texture, and therefore the pencil has something to grip onto. It's got a base, it's prepared. But with aluminium, the etching actually creates enough of a base for it to for the pencils to grip onto. So we might, I won't try to do anything elaborate or fancy. We'll just colour in. So yeah, if you try to go on the top surface, it really doesn't, you can't see it. Yeah, it'll just kind of wipe off. But I can't do the same to the gritty bit. It will hold. No, I'm using the lightest colour pencil that you can't see. So I might, I'm just going to do some stripes with this and then show that you can blend it with some terps. So use another colour, kind of go up to the line, blend it in a little. But for those of you who are, you know, amazing illustrators, drawers, this has the potential to be an amazing technique to add to your repertoire, because you can, you can do amazingly detailed, kind of artwork with pencils. If you find that, your pencil comes up onto one of the high bits, you can just kind of sand it off. But I find that most of the time it'll just kind of wipe off the shininess of the unraised or the raised unetched aluminium. Okay, so I've got my three colours, and then because of its like oil content, just some mineral terps and a paintbrush will do for blending. So I'll just pop a little bit into a container. You don't need much. And then you can, oh, has that one come off its sticker? That's interesting. Or is that actually, that's a perfect like bit of scum has come off that. That's amazing. I have actually never seen that before. That's kind of cool. Sorry, I've just destroyed you. I'll give that a bit of a scrape off.
We'll have to watch that on Action Replay to see what happened.
Yeah. Everybody distracted by my colouring in, and there's this amazing chemical reaction thing happening. Oh, there we go. All right, so we've got a little bit of terps on the end of a paintbrush. And then you can start to kind of blend and mix. Now, what I found is that you really do have to experiment with all the different colours as to which ones blend the best. So you might see on this one, again, I've got three colours on there, but the palest blue, oh my goodness, it really did go almost like paint. It really thickened up and was easily moved. So you do have to play with each of the colours. They've all got their own pigments. And you can kind of blend this so it almost becomes much more like a paint rather than than the pencil.
So this becomes a permanent finish. Is that the story?
Yeah. Yep. If you wanted it to be super permanent, then yes, I would add like a nice coating of something like clear coat or some fixative additive layer on the top. But if because the etch bit is lower, the raised unetched bits offers a little bit of protection. So it doesn't, if it's only like small little areas, it's not going to get as affected or as scratched as easily as that kind of top part. So this red, this is actually moving a lot more like a paint, and I can kind of fill in the gaps and spread it around. But I'd probably want to, I could go back in with my other colours that didn't move quite as much, fill in a bit more and rework it. So it's like just building the colour up by multiple applications. And you can start kind of blending through on the lines. Yeah. So that gives you a little quick introduction to Prismacolor pencils on aluminium, etched aluminium. Yeah.
No, you can imagine there'd be millions of effects you could create.
And certainly for the people who have the amazing skills in illustration and drawing. Like I've seen one necklace. It was a copper necklace with the gesso underneath, but you would have sworn that it was real flowers around the person's neck. So yes, this lady had shaped the flowers and had coloured them just like their real counterparts. And yet you would have sworn it was like a lei. It was that realistic, and all just done with, yeah, Prismacolor pencils on copper.
Wow.
So yeah, it is lots of fun. But I do not claim to be a brilliant artist or illustrator in that respect. So yeah, I'm more of a block of colour kind of person. So let's get this last one out. Get a bit of a final clean and rinse. But yeah, that one has continued to eat and etch away despite it being that, yeah, murky and muddy. That over. And let's see how this copper, this contact worked. So yeah, I'd probably still try to go for that nicer, thicker vinyl contact rather than the, the cheap, what parents cover their children's school books with, or they used to. But yeah, go for the firmer, firmer contact. Something like potentially address labels could work as well. I've never tried that before, but yeah, those sticky address labels, that could be an easy way of getting some sticker type sheets. Alrighty. Now with this one, whereas those circles have got a perfectly nice clean edge, this flower is kind of, it's got a slight little, the flower in the, oh, sorry, I keep taking it out of screen. Sorry, guys. Because I'm blind and everything has to be within, 20 centimetres of my face. I can't see a thing. Okay. Don't know whether you can see. It's got ever so slight kind of feathering on the outside. It's not quite as clean, but I think, again, it's a case of this, thin, stretchy contact being a little bit, not cutting as nicely or as cleanly as what the vinyl would. But yeah, a scalpel would help. If you could cut those out with a scalpel, that'd be great, much cleaner. But yeah, those have come up very nice.
So we'll call it a wrap there, but there's lots of nice comments coming in saying thanks for the fantastic tutorial. So thank you for those comments. Thanks for being on board, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll look forward to seeing you and Katherine back again real soon. So thanks, Katherine.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for your patience. And I really do hope that this might be a technique that you can use in your jewellery in the future. Thanks so much for joining us.